Chips and salsa, fresh chips and salsa. Never did a spice taste so sweet. You're bringing me the chips and salsa. My impulse was to look at them and never eat. And keep them in an airtight space right behind my face, where I can taste them but they never go away. Cause I can dream about chips and salsa, fresh chips and salsa. I hope you bring them to me every day.
Jack was in 6th grade when I made this project. So my problem was I had to always carry 2 bowls around for chips and salsa, and it got really annoying because you'd either drop it or spill it. So my product is 3D printed, and so over here is where you keep the chips, and right here you can see a scoop that goes up. So when you scoop your chip, the salsa falls back onto your chip. You have a little fill line right here, and if you and then there's a little spill place so you don't go over, and then the salsa goes in here. So some of the needs is it needed to be one thing with 2 compartments. It needed to be big enough to fit a good serving of chips and a good serving of salsa. And some of the wants were being able to scoop up your chip and then have it fall back down onto your chip so you don't lose any. And anti-spill edge one. Or another need is that it needed to be fine when you dropped it and not being able to break. So I didn't originally think I was gonna make it a square shaped. I thought it was gonna be a bowl with like a pocket, but it turned out that doesn't work as well as a square, and it's not as stable, so that's why I chose square. I wanted to make it out of like a clay type thing, so it would be like what's it called? Tough. But then I realized if you dropped it, it would probably break that way. I chose this design because it fits really well on your lap or a countertop. It also is very stable and it doesn't feel tippy. I chose this material because it's okay in the dishwasher and it's very durable when you drop it. It also doesn't leak salsa, and it keeps all the chip crumbs in. So one of the problems I ran into was struggling making the bowl on the 3D printing website. So there's a lot of different sizes and shapes here, so it was very hard on the program just to measure that out instead of having like a 3-dimensional object to know what it would look like. I had was picking a material because this was like the last, this was one of the last ideas I came up with. The first 2 were like a Tupperware material and then like a pottery material. So originally I started making it out of Legos to get the sizing down. So what I did was I put chips in the compartment that was made out of Legos to see if it would fit, and I had to adjust the size to make sure that it would fit enough chips. After I got my sizes down, I measured everything on a piece of paper and I started making it on the Tinkercad, the 3D printing website. So from there, it was about trying to figure out the right sizes and the right thicknesses for everything so it wouldn't be too heavy or too delicate. And then once we 3D printed it, it was ready to use. We did many tests with our product, including putting water in here and dropping it would break. We did multiple tests with seeing if the scoop mechanism would work or if it didn't. So that was another struggle we had because in the beginning we didn't know how far to curve it up until we tested it and then we realized it worked good. This product worked great. It worked a lot better than I was expecting. All of the things that this is made out of worked great. There was no leaks and there was no spills, and the scoop worked, and it was the perfect size. So a couple things I would do to change it is maybe have, if I would do it next time, is maybe have some rounded edges to make it more like sleek, and then avoiding having like big blocks that kind of stick out like right here, maybe cutting that down so it matched the scoop. A helpful thing to be successful is making sure you stay within like what you're supposed to be doing for that day. So if you start to fall behind, it's really, really hard to catch up, especially when you're 3D printing something, because the modeling takes a long time. I loved making multiple versions of it out of Legos, and I also liked being able to make it my own on Tinkercad, and which made it a lot more enjoyable. And the best part is I can use it as much as I want. I think I've already used this around 50 times.
Chips and salsa, fresh chips and salsa. Never did a spice taste so sweet. You're bringing me the chips and salsa. My impulse was to look at them and never eat, and keep them in an airtight space right behind.